Okay, next topic is about earnings. So there are a few terms that you need to understand. One is net pay and gross earnings. So usually when a person is paid his or her salary, the total amount that's paid is called gross earnings, and then usually we don't get the whole gross earnings because a lot of deductions are made. So you have deductions like tax, insurance, and pension contributions. So in different countries you will have different kinds of deductions. So all these things are called deductions. So you have deductions like tax, insurance, pension contributions, and so finally what you get in your hand is net pay. So net pay is gross pay minus, or it's gross earnings minus deductions. Okay, so gross pay is the same as gross earnings. Gross pay minus deductions will give you net pay. Yeah, and sometimes in some companies you will have bonus. So bonus is an extra payment that's added to an employee's basic pay. So usually bonus is it's not a fixed amount. It depends on the employee's performance and all of that. So if the employee has performed very well and has met all his objectives, he gets a higher variable pay. Similarly, if a company is doing very well, the company has made a lot of profit in the previous year, usually you get a bigger bonus. So that's bonus. So bonus is an extra payment sometimes added to an employee's basic pay. And then just read through this. In many companies there is a fixed number of hours that an employee is expected to work. So usually it's like 8 hours a day, and if you work more than that, so they usually say this many hours per week, right? So 8 hours a day, and if you have, let's say, 5 working days a week, then it's fixed as 40 hours per week. So any work done in excess of this basic week is paid at a higher rate, referred to as overtime. You may have heard of this, right? Overtime, working overtime. So if you work more than your basic week, then you will be, for that excess hours that you work, you will be paid at a higher rate. So that payment is called overtime, and overtime may be 1.5 times basic pay. That's called time and a half, or twice basic pay. That's called double time. So in different companies you will have different calculations. So sometimes for overtime you may be paid time and a half, or you may be paid twice your basic pay, which is called double time. Then there is another thing called piecework. Piecework is another method of payment. Employees are paid for the number of articles made, not for the time taken. So for example, in a factory, suppose there is a factory that makes some article, let's say that makes furniture or something. Okay, so if you make let's say one piece of furniture, let's say one chair or something, for one chair you will be paid let's say 200 ringgit or something. So you are not paid a fixed amount. So it's not based on the hours you work, it's based on the number of articles you make, or number of jobs you finish. Okay, so that's called piecework. So we'll go through some problems where all of these terms are applied. So let's start with number 1. Mr. Ahmed's gross pay is 188.25. Deductions amount to $33.43. What is his net pay? So how will you find that?
188.25 minus minus
33.
4.43.
Yeah. How much is that?
154.82.
Yes, that's right. Okay, Miss Said's basic pay is $128. She earns $36 for overtime and receives a bonus of $18. What is her gross pay?
And everything.
Add everything, yes.
138 plus 36 plus 8.
Yes.
So $182.
$182. Yes, that's correct. Then Mrs. Haffa's gross pay is $203. She pays $54 in tax and $18 towards her pension. What is her net pay? Will you do that? Yeah, so it will be 203 minus 54
54
minus 18. Yes, yes. Okay. Then Mr. Wong works 35 hours for an hourly rate of $8.3. What is his basic pay?
35 times 8.30.
Yeah. 290.5. Yes. Okay, then Miss Martinez works 38 hours for an hourly rate of $4.15. In addition, she works 6 hours of overtime at time and a half. What is her total gross pay? Okay, how will you find that? So 38 hours for a hourly rate of 4.15. So 38 times 4.15. And then in addition she works 6 hours of overtime. So 6 hours. And what is the rate for overtime? It's time and a half. So time and a half means what? It's 1.5 times the usual rate. Okay. So 1.5 times 4.15. So if you do this calculation, you will get the answer. How much is that? This is what you're supposed to get. Okay. 95. You're getting this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Deductions amount to 32% of her total gross pay. What is her net pay? So 32% is deductions. So how will you find net pay? So from the gross pay you have to subtract something, right?
Yes, of course.
So 195.05 minus, you need to subtract the deductions. So deductions are 32% of her gross pay. So 32% of gross pay was 195.05. 132.63. Very good. Yes, that's the right answer. Pepe is paid $5.5 for each basket of grapes he picks. 1 week he picks 25 baskets. How much is he paid? How to do this?
25 times 5.5.
Okay. It's very easy. Let's skip that. Maria is paid €5 for every 12 plates that she makes. This is her record for 1 week. How much is she paid?
Add everything.
For every 12 plates, she makes €5. Yeah, first you add up all this. What is the number of plates? The total number of plates?
1,260.
1,260. So how much does she make?
Divided by 12.
Divided by 12. Okay.
As 105.
But she is paid €5 for every 12 plates, right? Okay, she makes 1,260 plates. For 12 plates, she makes €5, right?
Yes.
For one plate, 5 over 12. So for this many plates, for one plate it is this much. So for 1,260 plates, How will you find out? Ah, yeah. So this thing times 1260. So what's your answer?
525.
525, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so your final answer is 525 euro. Dollars or euro? Euro, right?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Then, Neo works at home making clothes. The patterns and materials are provided by the company. The table shows the rates she is paid and the number of items she makes in 1 week. Okay. So what does the term rate mean? What does this mean? If the rate is 25 rand, what does that mean? If she makes one jacket, she is paid 25 rand. Right, that is what rate means. Rate is always for 1 unit, isn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah, so what are her gross earnings?
25 plus 11.
That is for 1 unit. 25, 11 and all are for 1 unit. So in the last column it says how many jackets or trousers she made.
25 times 3.
25 times 3 plus 11 times 12
Plus 11 times 12.
plus 13 times
30 times 7.
7. Here it's 0, so you don't you can ignore that because she didn't make any dress. So what are her gross earnings?
298.
298. And what's a unit?
Rand.
Rand. Okay. Deductions amount to 15% of gross earnings. What is her net pay?
15 over 100 times 298.
So that will be the deductions, right?
Yes, so 44.7.
Okay, so what is her net pay?
298 minus 44.7.
200 and?
253.3.
Very good, 253.3. Usually when you write currency, you write it in 2 decimal places. Okay, so you write it as 0.30. Even if it's 0.3, you add a 0. That's how you usually write it. Okay, so that's the answer.